This segment of Lorraine Explains is what is leaking out of your car. I'm at Auto Works in Oshawa with Chris Muir, he's our mechanic, and we're going to talk about the stuff you find under your car, what's dangerous, what you should be concerned about, when you should tow it, when you should limp it to the shop, or when you should ignore it.
Absolutely, here we go.
Let's start here in the corner where there's nothing.
Where there's nothing?
This is air conditioning.
Well,
this time of year,
it's not
sometimes
quite air
you get
conditioning
water.
yet. You get water.
And sometimes people freak out. I've been asked by people in parking lots if they should be worried because there's water under their car.
Yeah,
that's normal.
It's really hard to tell it apart from the oil stain that was underneath it before. It will go rainbow when it's hitting oil, everything else, but it is just straight water. It won't have a smell, it'll feel like water. It will be actual water dripping out of your air conditioning unit, and that is normal.
Okay, this is brake fluid.
This is used brake fluid, actually. This is the only stuff that makes your brakes work. So if you have a hydraulic leak, you have no brakes, essentially, or you have very limited brakes.
Don't drive.
Don't drive.
See
Put it on a
it,
tow truck.
tow it, and get it in.
And get it into a shop.
Okay.
When it's fresh, when it's brand new, it actually has almost no color to it.
Okay, coolant. We've got two kinds here.
We've got two of three kinds that you can generally have.
Okay.
There's a green or conventional glycol coolant. This is a silica coolant, also known as, its industry name is Dexcool. This is the GM version of it. Other long lives have that same orange or reddish color to them. Ford actually uses a golden coolant, and Nissan uses a blue coolant.
Okay, now what is the concern if you find a coolant leak?
You're going to be leaking what actually cools off the engine, regulates the engine temperature. You may have overheat concerns. You're going to have a really sickly, sweet smell no matter what kind it is when it's burning off.
So that's one way to identify it.
That's one way to identify it.
Is this get to a mechanic or you top up your own?
This is get it to a mechanic as soon as possible. Figure out where it's coming from.
Okay, I've had this happen. Power steering fluid went.
Power steering fluid.
That's terrifying. The power steering went.
We either see the actual rubber separate from the steel part of the hose, or we'll see the steel rot through.
Okay, so if you back your car out and see these things, you can identify it.
Certainly.
Oil, most of us know oil from a rainbow.
That's right.
That's the first.
Yeah, that's the first kind of telltale, is when it rains you can see this beautiful rainbow in the puddles that the rain creates, and that is the oil just trying to get back on top of the water and refracting light in different ways. So on the left we've got fresh engine oil here. Again, if you put this in a glass it would be a nice honey brown color, and on the right we've got used engine oil, and you can see it's picked up all the dirt and the byproducts of combustion, blow-by, carbon, everything else. This is why we change the oil, because it does eventually collect all the dirt and turn this horrendous color. You should be concerned anytime you have an oil leak. They can increase severity fairly quickly. I mean, this is the lifeblood of the engine. The other real risk is if you've got an oil leak that's dripping onto something hot, there is still a fire potential for it. It does have a flash point. It can ignite and will burn very, very hard.
Automatic transmission fluid.
Automatic transmission fluid. Again, the one on the left is nice and fresh. You can see it's got a nice pink color to it. And the one on the right has got dirt. It's a little bit older. This is still all right. Again, it's been in the transmission for some time. It's picked up pieces of old clutch.
Thank you, Chris, for explaining what drips out of our cars. For Driving.ca, I'm Lorraine Sommerfeld.
And I'm Chris Muir.